Good morning, students. This is the sixth video of the chapter Nationalism in India, and this video has been made for class 10th. So now let us discuss the next subtopic, that is Salt March or Dandi March, and how it was related with the CDM. So far we discussed in our last video that Gandhiji was looking for an opportunity, he was looking for a subject, he was looking for a particular subject to start the next mass movement, that was civil disobedience movement. And finally Gandhiji got it in the form of salt. So why salt? So we need to understand this. When Britishers came, their intention, their objective was to make Indians weak on three different grounds. First one was that Indians should become weak on financial ground or economic ground. And for that, they drained our wealth, they imposed heavy taxes, and they took all the important resources from India towards their country. Second objective was to make Indians politically or psychologically weak, and that is why they ruled over us. They took the different kingdoms also, and after that they imposed various laws. They adopted very strict laws on Indians, and no Indians were allowed to go against the Britishers. So they politically also crushed Indians. Now after that, they wanted to, what was the third objective? The third objective was also very clear. They wanted to make Indians physically weak, and for that they targeted our common ingredient, that was salt. They imposed heavy taxes on the salt, and they made a law that no Indians will be allowed to make salt by their own, because we all know that salt is made from the seawater, and India is encircled from three sides with the sea. But despite these facilities, we are not allowed to form salt. And second thing, the salt was very costly. So basically this was done to make Indians weak. So we saw that basically the Britishers were having three objectives, and by using their devices, by using their different devices, they made Indians weak. Okay. Now here, when Gandhiji got the subject, because this subject was a common subject of Indian House, so he took that subject and he demanded from the present Viceroy, Lord Irwin, that this salt law should be abolished, it should be banned, and he put forward his 11th demand before the Lord Irwin. But Lord Irwin, he took it very lightly. He rejected his demand. In this demand, it was mentioned that political prisoners should be freed. Second was that salt laws should be abolished. Like that, many important demands were there. So these demands were put forward by Gandhiji, and it was put forward before Lord Irwin. So Lord Irwin rejected this demand by telling that no, he has not much time to listen these things. Okay. So once this demand was rejected, Gandhiji gave the ultimatum that if you are not going to listen this demand, if you are not going to fulfill these 11 demands, I am going to start next mass movement, that was civil disobedience movement. So once this demand was rejected, Gandhiji moved with his many followers towards the Dandi village. And Dandi was one of the important village in Gujarat, and finally reached the Dandi with his followers, and he took salty water from the sea, and he evaporated it, and this is how salt was made. So basically it was symbolic in nature, because Britishers made the law and Gandhiji broke the law. So it was about breaking the law. So Gandhiji gave a clear message to Britishers that we are here to break your law. We are not going to obey your law, and we will do it with obedience, in a very civilized manner. So basically we are going to disobey your orders, we are going to disobey your rules, and here we are going to do it in a very civilized manner. That is why it is mentioned as civil disobedience movement. So basically Salt March was the part of CDM, or you can say the Salt March was termed as the beginning of the CDM. But it's we need to understand it, the CDM was started with the Salt March only. So Salt March was very clear message, and this particular Salt March or this particular broke of salt law was replicated in various parts of India. So once this message reached to different parts of India, including Bihar also, UP also, different people came near the sea area or near the pond area, and they formed salt, and thus they broke the law. Now, once this news reached and people started boycotting the foreign goods, people came on the street, they picketed the foreign goods shop, and this is how the people started to protest. So the protest became much, you can say much widespread, and this is how the Lord Irwin, when he heard this, he got very alert. He understood he understood now that he made a mistake, because he initially rejected the 11 demands of Gandhiji. So he understood that was his mistake, and finally Lord Irwin called Gandhiji to come back to discuss. So in 1931, on 5th of March, Gandhiji-Irwin Pact or Gandhi-Irwin Pact was signed between Lord Irwin and Gandhiji. So if we are going to talk about pact, we need to understand that in the pact, both sides are going to admit few things. I mean to say, both sides are going to admit each other demands. So here Gandhiji accepted the demand of Lord Irwin, and Lord Irwin also accepted the demand of Gandhiji. So basically, the 11 demands that were put forwarded by Gandhiji was accepted by Lord Irwin, excluding one or two. Like the salt law was abolished from that effect only, from that day only, and after that political prisoners were free. So this was done by Lord Irwin. So far as Gandhiji was concerned, Gandhiji decided to call off the CDM, or the CDM that was started by Gandhiji at the time. So Gandhiji told that, okay, I'm going to give respect to this pact, and according to this pact, I am going to end civil disobedience movement. So civil disobedience movement that started with the salt march, now it became, or now it stopped because of the Gandhi-Irwin Pact. Second thing, Gandhiji became ready to participate in the second round table conference that was going to be held in London, because in the round table conference only the fate of the Indian was to be decided. Okay, so here Gandhiji became ready to become sole representative of Congress party to join round table conference. So basically Gandhiji admitted round table conference, and second thing, he admitted that he will end civil disobedience movement, whereas Lord Irwin accepted that he will abolish salt law, and second thing, that he will free political prisoners. So this is how the pact was signed in 1930. So in the second roundtable conference, basically second roundtable conference was organized for the Indians. They invited all the different groups in this particular group from India, so that they can sit together, they can form a common constitution. But they were knowing that if many Indians will come together, they will come together from different parts. Of course, they will not become ready, or they will not be able to create some common program. So this actually happened over the time. When Gandhiji reached that, he reached there in London, he found that many other leaders were also present. They were representing different groups, like B.R. Ambedkar was there, right? And many other leaders were there, female leaders were also there. So he saw that Gandhiji was present there as a representative of Congress party. So basically in this particular meeting, finally something happened, and because of that Gandhiji returned empty-handed. I mean to say, Gandhiji became dissatisfied once this meeting was organized, and after that Gandhiji came back towards India, because he was not happy with the decision that was taken in the second round table conference. So we need to understand it, that we'll discuss that what exactly happened in second round table conference. So we'll discuss it later on in the upcoming videos, that what exactly happened in second round table conference, and why Gandhiji returned empty-handed. We need to understand, but we will discuss it in the later videos, in the upcoming videos. Okay. Now when Gandhiji returned dissatisfied, he relaunched the CDM. He relaunched CDM, but as it was initially stopped, and again Gandhiji came and he relaunched it, it could not attain momentum. That was in the initial phase. That was in the first phase. So Gandhiji came and he relaunched the second phase of CDM, but CDM lost its momentum, and finally in 1934, finally it came to an end, and many other leaders also got arrested, including Gandhiji. We need to understand here that Gandhiji and many other leaders got arrested, and they could not relaunch the CDM very successfully. It was finally stopped in 1934. So this is how the CDM also became a failure. I mean, it could not last for a long time. So CDM was stopped. So we need to understand why the CDM was stopped, why the reason, what was the reason that why the civil disobedience movement could not become a very successful mass movement, although it was started by Gandhiji with great enthusiasm. So we'll discuss it, that why it could not become successful, because it could not get support of many groups. So we'll discuss one by one that who are those groups who could not support the CDM in the next video. So this is all about in this video. Thank you so much.